Yes, people. We're back again. Raps on TV, reporting fresh out of London. Quiet weekend in the boxing scene, but we're back as usual to talk the best things in boxing. Here with a guest today. My mic just went out, so I was looking at the engineer. But no, we're here we've got a guest joining us today, Combo Nation, former guest that's been on the show previously, manager representing some great UK talent. Looking forward to discussing some things with you today. But welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's good to be back, man.
Good. And obviously I'm here with my co-host, Tom. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good, coach. Good to be back. Last year was all about millions. This year is all about billions. So, yeah, it's good to be back again, roll over and, just dive straight into the weekend's action. And, there's only really one place to start.
I was going to say, the one place you got to start is letting people know the phone number to call. I'll just let everybody know. Obviously, thank you for all the support. YouTube, Instagram, growing. A lot more activity on social media this week. But the number to call for the future or the present is 01506 243 403. If you want to have your message heard, your voice heard, your opinion discussed, that's the number to call, 01506 243 403. So, guys, Tom, I'll let you get back into it.
Yeah, so Thurman returned to the ring on the weekend, his first defence back for his WBA welterweight crown. And, from my perspective, he boxed superbly, did show sort of a bit of ring rust, a few vulnerabilities that Lopez was able to have relative success with, but largely impressed with his performance. Was able to kind of watch it back Sunday night and dissect the fight round by round. But just kind of a general summary. Just good lateral movement, good head movement, and just all the signs of a champion returning from a 2-year layoff.
Yeah, no, definitely an entertaining fight. I think obviously he won, I'll say convincingly, but it was a really great fight. I think the 7th round, it was kind of a man down. Steve Willis performed some additional entertainment with the refs' faces. But yeah, I have to say, overall with Thurman, for me, I think for coming back into this as his sort of like out of his layoff, I thought it was a good test. You know, a lot of guys would have gone for easier opponents. He definitely, like I said, went into deep waters with Lopez. Lopez is a bit underrated. What do you think?
No, I think he controlled the fight very well.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning, he controlled the fight with his jab. He was landing the more cleaner shots, in my opinion, as well. So, considering, like you said, the time that he's had off, it's been a good comeback. You wouldn't think that he's had that time off, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think he's ready to step back in at the elite level? The likes of Spence, Crawford. Do you kind of look at that performance and think 2 years out of the ring, you'd expect, like Fury did when he returned, a bit of ring rust to shake off? But
yeah, definitely. But I think Thurman is a top class fighter. He should step up and keep going as he is. There's no need to take the walking stages again, as you would put it. But yeah.
Yeah, as well, you kind of look at the landscape at welterweight. You've got the likes of Sean Porter, who obviously took that vacant belt away from Thurman, who relinquished it before his injuries. But in terms of a Pacquiao fight, is that something you kind of look at as the next step for Thurman before he does chase those kind of marquee names in the division?
Yeah, to be honest, you know what? I think Thurman would beat Pacquiao, you know? I think he's strong enough, he's smart enough, you know? So yeah, it'll be interesting and it'll be a good win on his record, won't it?
Yeah. And we're going to go into a lot more detail about what kind of work you've been doing. A large part of the kind of the Combo Nation periphery, particularly in Europe and America, but that expansion and the build of your profile. Just kind of tell me how you particularly got involved in boxing and started working with these high caliber of names.
Oh, it's a mad story. I started with events promotion and artist promotion to begin with. At the same time, I was doing amateur boxing at the Fisher, ABC. And then, I didn't, you know how boxing is. I wasn't serious about it. Had a few injuries along the way, so found it hard coming back.
Yeah.
But Chris Kongo, as you all know, he's always been a close friend of mine. So it's not just in boxing, he's a friend out of boxing as well. So
yeah.
He's always been around me, even through his amateur career. So he's been promoted anyway by me. From just naturally, everyone's taken an interest into him being a boxer. It wasn't it wasn't that thing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of artists even took interest in him.
The work you were doing.
So yeah, so basically by the time he did turn pro, a lot of people knew about him.
Mm-hmm.
It helped with his fan base, and yeah, continued to grow from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess just to touch on that, obviously with Chris Kongo, he's been in some, no matter what he's been in, he's not massively known in terms of household name, but he's done some good things in terms of ITV box office, fighting on Haymaker, fighting on Matchroom cards, and he's a skilled opponent. He's one of those guys that's quite dangerous, actually. A lot of people kind of see him as a big
Chris
threat.
is definitely seen as a big threat.
He's a big threat.
It's not easy finding him the right fights
Yeah.
to step up to the next level, you know? So,
And in terms of obviously, so for those of you that don't know, Combination have signed a partnership deal with About Billions, which is Adrian Broner's promotional team. I think the number one question everyone wants to know is how did it get started? Like, how did that come around?
you know what? I won't reveal all, but yeah, it started with just brief conversations from about a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, my partner, Caesar, he was talking to Ravon, and I was talking to Littlehead. But we both came to an agreement. But what happened was we all took time. We agreed that one day it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah, don't worry, we'll keep in touch with you. All of that. And to be fair, I just thought, you know what, these are dream selling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
like one of those package holidays,
Exactly.
you look at, when you go to Ibiza and they're kind of
Like
selling
the
you
Fire
a drink.
Festival, right?
Fire festival,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? But I thought, you know what, these are dream selling, man.
Yeah.
So I remember Ravon used to always be like to me, send me an email, send me this, send me that. And I used to think, but nothing's happening.
What's coming of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know what, you can't just focus on one thing. So as it goes,
You have a long-term goal as well, right?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the ball kept rolling. It was just an idea to begin with, you know? And the ball kept rolling. Then came December. I remember it was like 2 days before Christmas.
Mad. And did you kind of have to be a bit persistent with it? Kind of reaching out to a massive global brand. You see Adrian Broner, the stuff that he's...
Do you know what? I wouldn't say too persistent. That I'd say one thing Ravon said to me, as everyone knows him as 60-40, CEO of About Billions, if for everyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
But one thing he said to me, it wasn't just about the consistency and it wasn't about what he sees. It was the conversations that we held. And he's like, you know what, you're really smart. You're really smart. I remember he said that to me, you're really smart. And we won't go into the conversations that we had, but we had some good ideas that benefited both of us. And the ball kicked off from there. And what helped it happen was the delay really was on their side, finding the right footing. It was about taking time, and it couldn't be a rush thing. It was a power move, innit? So I've known for a little while that was gonna happen. It was just nothing to talk about. But our Heyman move with ITV,
A massive move.
that benefited this agreement.
Yeah.
So they had a leg to stand on in the UK, basically. So we kicked it off from there. So now, for all the boxers listening, we've got a chance to take over to the States now. So
Yeah.
And obviously finishing on that, I mean, that's a key point. Getting guys the ability to be able to fight over in the States. I mean, how possible is that? If we've got, a lot of amateurs, professionals that aren't getting a break with the big stable houses, how should they contact you, number one?
do you know what? It's mad to say, but we're like, cool. We're looking to work with the best of the best. To be honest, there's no point beating around the bush.
Yeah.
So if we look at you and discover your talent. Your talent. Then we'll work with you from there. But you ain't got to be nothing too special, but at least potential or something. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and at the same time, it's not just me. looking out for the talent. I've got a lot of eyes out there and a lot of people that ring me and be like, "Oh, look at this guy. Take this guy. Can you do for him?" And people find me, contact me themselves, see me at shows, say the same thing. So everyone's always got a chance, because at the end of the day, who would have thought about billions would have gave me a chance? So I'm not going to be hypocritical and not give others a chance.
Yeah, and that's clearly obviously a testament to your work ethic. And I mean, you touched on a good point there. It's not necessarily all about the talent, how you facilitate and nurture that talent, but also you've got to have that work ethic, that drive. And you obviously clearly share the same sentiment with your partners overseas, and that's kind of how they reached out to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's more than just the talent. It's definitely, come on, you see a lot of boxers. I know some quality boxers, but they don't put the work in, or they're just not bothered about it, or
they haven't been managed.
You know what I'm saying?
Correctly.
But at the same time, a lot of them feel that they haven't had the right promoter believe in them.
Yeah.
So that's been a big issue.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, from what I see and what I know so far, ITV are actually giving boxers the opportunity to showcase their talent.
Yeah, and step up.
So I think that would be a threat to other promoters, because now they're going to have to open up their doors, aren't they?
Yeah.
And let others through, otherwise...
Because you can't... It has to be a mixture, right? It has to be a mixture.
In my opinion, all these promoters are moaning about Al Heyman's taking all the boxers, he's doing this, he's doing that, but there must be a reason.
Yeah.
Clearly, not every boxer, a boxer's not just going to leave just for the sake of leaving. Whether it be the money, whether it be better deal over there, other promoters are then going to have to step up their game. That's how I see it. It's chess.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition out there. And I mean, as well, I suppose, kind of the diversity of networks and broadcasters, it kind of adds to the growth of the sport. But particularly with this kind of new deal that's arose with yourself and your partners overseas, what kind of confidence do you think that kind of exclaims to these other kind of broadcasters, and I mean just in general kind of working together, showing that the UK is on the map?
Within part of the conversation that we had with them a year and a half ago was that it was the obvious, it was the inevitable. So I used to even think to myself, how can I see it? And there's people that have been in the game a lot longer than me and a lot more skillful than me can't see it. So it's either stubbornness and being hard-headed, or I don't know, but if I can make it happen, I'm sure they can make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And back to the domestic scene with Chris Kongo, he's obviously made that transition between kind of, learning his apprenticeship as he started his pro career, and now he's moving on to major title contention. Without all these networks and broadcasters, how many more obstacles do you think Chris would have to overcome if he wasn't given this platform, such as ITV Box Office and other opportunities to fight on the mainstream shows?
What if there was no...
If there was no kind of affiliation with...
For anyone or for Chris?
Yeah, I suppose you can kind of touch on for everyone, but Chris specifically, having known him for a long time.
For Chris, it would have been hard. It would have been hard. And I think the good thing is he did get on TV and it opened him up to a lot more people. So... that could be the promoter's mistake as well by putting him on there. But yeah, you know how it is. It's like I say, some things are the inevitable, and you can't hide someone like that.
Yeah, I suppose as well, kind of taking the opportunity when it comes.
Yeah, Chris is hardworking. He's a patient person as well. That's one thing I love about Chris. He's very patient. Like by now, you've got boxers moaning. Like Chris hasn't even boxed for the Southern area yet.
Yeah,
but he's still sitting there. He's waiting patiently, and the right thing will come for him.
And showing the signs and the DNA of a major player in the division title aspirations. I mean, he's touched on numerous interviews that we've done with him on the small scene when, he hasn't had the backing, he hasn't had the support. I mean, he's had to kind of grow his own fan base off his own back.
Yeah, definitely. Chris has definitely grown his own fan base. Obviously, other shows have helped with outside, but like I said earlier, Chris has been building up his fan base since he was an amateur, I remember his first fight as a professional, him alone was like 350 tickets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that shows. So numbers are only going to get bigger. Friends, family, and people that just watch him for the sport. You know what I'm saying? So it's a patience thing, and everything will come in time, and no rush.
Yeah, and as a close friend, mentor, whatever you kind of want to describe your relationship with Chris. If you were to say map out 3 fights this year, and you said that he hasn't fought for the Southern area. Is that something on his hot list to get the first major belt and then kind of propel onto?
Should be on. Chris will take any fight. To be fair, Chris will fight take any fight. But right now he's looking at top 5, nothing less than top 10. To be honest, I don't know if you've heard, but a few times he's called out Frankie Gavin.
Yeah,
he wants to fight with Frankie Gavin badly. He wants to fight with Josh Taylor. Not Josh Taylor, Josh Kelly, sorry. Which he had rivalry with back in the day when he was an amateur in the ABA finals. Yeah, so like I say, top 5.
and kind of taking it back kind of a few years, having worked with Isaac Chamberlain, another kind of major player in the cruiserweight landscape. Talk to me a bit about how that relationship kind of started, but just kind of the impact kind of you've had on boxers from when they have made that stage where they fought journeymen to kind of learn their trade and then step up and fight.
It's mad with Isaac. It's crazy. I remember, Isaac was a pro while I was an amateur. And I remember training in Pro SW gym in Loughton. Coley used to train there himself as well, funny enough. But yeah, I was training there, and I remember Isaac saw on Instagram that I was with Tony Conquest, and he DM'd me one time. He's like, "Oh, can you help get me sparring?" I was like, "All right, cool, I'll put the word in for you, see in it." But I used to watch Isaac as a professional, and then I remember one time seeing him, he was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" Then him and Chris got in the same stable. Isaac obviously saw what was going on with Chris, and yeah, we made the same thing happen with him.
Yeah,
I started working with him. The fight that he won the Southern area with Kownacki Camacho, yeah.
Fight of the year.
Yeah, popped his shoulder out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, kind of, as like we were talking about, kind of that working with the domestic level fighters, and also then kind of having that stardom now that you've got the chance to work with some of the best talent, and then kind of push them on, give them that that global recognition, that international exposure and fan base. How exciting is the next, say, 12 to 18 months for you personally, and working collectively with a very reputable and credible stable?
Oh, no, definitely. Right now, the year is just looking really exciting for us on this side, to be honest. Like, there's a lot to draw up, a lot of plans to draw up. There's a lot of things to execute. But yeah, like I said, in it, patience and time by time, slowly, you'll see everything reveal.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing the rise. And you like, as Tom said, it's a great opportunity to work with such a brand. So
yeah, no, like seriously, they're out for a lot of young talent. They're out for they got their eye on a lot of fighters in the UK. They got a lot of.
what's their opinion? I mean, I guess when you had the conversation, what's their opinion of UK fighters and UK fans or boxing?
You know what?
Over here?
They love the UK fans, you know.
Yeah.
When every time I speak to Six, he's like, yeah, this is the Mecca of boxing. You're living in the Mecca of boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can't wait to come over.
Yeah,
So
for atmosphere, right?
yeah, they will be over very, very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to seeing them. But yeah, in terms of the main man, is he the one that signs the checks? Everybody knows he's about billions, so we want to know that his name.
Too much sauce.
Yeah.
AB. You know what? AB's an interesting character. You know? He's an interesting character. You know what? He's good-hearted. It's hard to explain AB, you know. It's hard. Like, I can't say he puts it on for the camera.
Yeah.
Because it is him. But he's not this flashy, arrogant person. You You know what I'm saying? When you speak to him, he's level-headed. He's quite intelligent in what he's talking about. He's got his mind set on other things.
Yeah.
Not just boxing. He's very business-minded.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, their whole camp is very business-minded.
Yeah.
They've got their hands on more than just boxing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they plan to bring a few of those things over here as well. So, like I said, it's more than just boxing.
Yeah.
So do you kind of share the kind of view that maybe perhaps the work that's been put in behind closed doors, that business credential that kind of Adrian Broner's shown, particularly having, getting to know him, working now with closely alongside, do you think that kind of doesn't portray his character to the wider boxing fraternity? Do you think the things that he's concentrating on behind closed doors will probably reveal him more as a person?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what? Remember, he's still young. Everyone forgets that. He's still young.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you do when you give a young guy so much money, you know?
Yeah.
AB's been in the million bracket since the age of 21, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, that's a fair point.
one thing someone explained to me, I can't remember where it was, like, you have to think, he's boxed all his life from, let's say, the age of 8 years old. He's probably been in most competitions as an amateur. Now, when he's got to the age of 21, he's got all that money. He's missed out on all that childhood. He's now catching up with it, in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's enjoying himself.
It's now time that he's having.
Yeah.
All right, people look at it as the wrong time because of your career.
Yeah.
But it's just caught up with him now, and he's just living and doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, as you said, he's an interesting character. I think the thing is with Broner, I think actually, people want to, I say they want to see him do well, but I think, if we're going to talk about the Pacquiao performance, I think people kind of always feel let down because it's like you've seen him do more, but we just don't know what happens. But ultimately, we said last week, regardless of him losing, he's still a big name, he's still a pay-per-view fighter. Like, he's going to, like you said, if he comes to the UK, people are going to be like, Adrian Broner's in town.
Yeah, of course.
You signing with him. I mean, he's one of the few guys that can set up a promotional company because he's got clout. He's got a name. Even if, you look at an Errol Spence Jr., he can't set up a promotional company,
He has, funny enough.
I know he's doing it independently, but it's not the, when I say can't, it's not the same.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie, it's coming as well.
Yeah.
It's coming as well. It's crazy because it's all the same circles. So
Yeah.
Errol Spence to Javante, Robert Easter.
Yeah.
And then, shout out Desto and...
Yeah.
So there's a few others.
Yeah.
Because I know Charlo was saying with the Lions only stuff as well. He was looking at the Charlo brothers.
Their circles very tight.
Yeah.
Very tight. So, like, I don't know. I haven't really got into the political sides with them. Like,
tried it.
with other stuff like for Javante Davis. So, because a lot of people have asked me about that as well. So, who's Javante with? AB or
Mayweather?
Yeah.
You know what? From what I've heard, can't say 100%, but AB did spot Javante Davis first.
Yeah.
And whilst he was grinding about Billions Promotions, Brandy gave him to Mayweather to basically baby him through.
Yeah.
And now he's taking him back, basically. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they get on a lot better anyway, so it's kind of, I won't say to be expected, but it's not a surprise, really. You look at the relationship between Broner and Tank Davis compared to Tank and Mayweather, it's not the same. So hopefully he guides him in his career well, and we look forward to seeing what comes next. Yeah. So this weekend we got the Matchroom card. Slightly busy action. I think for me the fight of the night is definitely Craig Richards versus Jake Paul. Obviously Cheeseman is there representing against Garcia for European Super welterweight. But let's start with Jake Paul versus Craig Richards. His fight's finally come around after being postponed twice. Interesting one because Craig Richards has kind of gone up in weight to kind of challenge against Jake Paul, who's had an up and down career. When he got knocked out quite early on one of Ohio Davis's card, but then he's come back to put himself in a much better position. How do you see this fight going?
I think it's a culmination of things. I mean, the kind of period from when the fight was first announced right through till kind of now that the fight's materialised. I think Richards particularly has shown that he can adjust to any scenario. Being called, I mean, for less than a week's notice to fight Buglioni, and that was his acid test. He went to 12 rounds. He gave a great account of himself. I just think that with that, the experience that he's gained from fighting a top domestic level, fringe European level contender, and also the fact that Ball's kind of not really had the same caliber of fights, and also with the injury as well, you kind of don't know how that's going to play out. I just think tenacity and pressure is going to be the difference on the night. Jake Ball has kind of shown glimpses that he can't really use his range to effect against kind of mid-journey level and that's no disrespect, mid-journey level opponents. So I think Richards will edge it on points, but I think it'll be a great fight early on. I think you could possibly see a knockdown or two, but I think Richards in all has the better attributes, in my opinion.
Chris, David,
I think, you know what? It's going to be a good fight, man. I'll be watching their banter on social media.
Exactly,
as well,
and you need that as well to build up a bit of domestic rivalry.
That Craig's team's just taking a piss, man. They're just out there with the wanted posters and stuff, you know. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's gonna be a good fight. Yeah, me personally, that's the fight I'm going for. That and Cheeseman,
exactly.
Cheeseman, Bermondsey.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think for it's a clean sweep. I'm also backing Richards to win this one. I think it will be a tough fight. I think Ball won't lie down easily. But I think Richards is a smart fighter. He's slick. He's fast as well. So for me, I could see him getting to a points win. But yeah, moving on to Cheeseman. He's coming off a good victory against Senior Byfield. I thought that was a great fight. He showed a bit of resolve, a little bit of intelligence as well. I think Cheeseman's slightly underrated. What do you guys make of this fight against Garcia?
Yeah, I mean, he's quite a compact fighter. He's shown that he can fight on the inside. He can fight at range. And I think now he's completed his apprenticeship at domestic level. He's kind of bypassed the English, the Commonwealth straps. And I mean, in terms of his experience, like I said, with Richards, he's had that acid test. Carson Jones was Cheeseman's acid test. Yeah. Even though he was kind of coming to the back end of his career, he wasn't really at his peak. I still think Cheeseman weathered the storm, and he showed that he can, bite down on the gum shield and go through that level of intensity and pace. So
I think even Byfield was a little bit as well. I know Byfield came out and said he was injured, but Byfield's always been a tricky customer. So to show that you've got the ability to work out his skill set was a great performance in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. Kind of what's your perspective on Cheeseman's kind of rise?
Cheeseman's a good fighter, man.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter.
He's underrated, right?
Like I said, I've watched Cheeseman from when he was an amateur as well. He's always been good, man.
Yeah. He's got. I won't say kind of like a Warrington, but he's just got that ability to just put fighters under pressure. He's always coming forward.
He's got a good engine on him as well.
Yeah, people say, oh yeah, but he's not skillful or silky, but it doesn't need to be. He knows what his skill set is. He's got a good jab. He's always coming forward. And for me, I think he's underrated. I think he is in a tough division because when you look at the world level, he might potentially come up short, but he's young, and who's to say that he needs to have world titles this year? It could be next year or the year after, and just build up a bit of a fan base, which he's got a lively fan base whenever you watch him fight.
Bermondsey boy, isn't he?
Bermondsey boy, exactly. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him fight, and I think, that plus the sort of Craig Richards, Jake Balls is the highlights for me. And in terms of the other fights, who else would you be looking out for in that? Obviously, Coley's fighting. I think the opponent's recently been named. I'm not familiar with him though. Got a Coley, we've got Charles Frankham, Felix Cash. So it should be a lively night. Huh?
John Doherty as well, someone I'm enjoying watching at the moment. I think he's got a very good flair to his fighting style.
What division is that?
I believe it's I think it might be super well. I'm not 100% sure.
All right.
Might be completely off.
No.
But I mean, like you said, those names, Felix Cash, first major title, step up.
Yeah.
He's going to be a major player at middleweight. And I think as well, he's kind of got that Commonwealth title at the perfect time. You've got obviously the likes of Mark Heffron, Liam Williams stepped up to win the British. So there's some big fights out there for him in 2019.
Definitely. There's some big fights.
Huge fights. Going back to the Thurman card. We had Kownacki make his not really a debut, but he was on ITV. It was his debut against Gerald Washington. Kownacki's now building up a bit of steam. He's obviously beaten Washington now. Previously, he beat Charles Martin, both by stoppages. Doesn't look the greatest of heavyweights. Bit of a butterbean. But he seems to have the power. What did you make of his performance, and what do you see him doing in the division?
I think he can now claim that he can walk the earth like a god. I mean, after those two performances. But no, I think in all seriousness, he's a major player. He's got good power. I think he's not the most mobile. He's quite flat-footed, like most conventional heavyweights. But not to say that he doesn't throw his shots efficiently. I mean, if you compare his performance to Wilder's account against Washington, you think, wow, this guy can punch. And he's not afraid to take two on the chin to give one back. Yeah. So he's willing to come forward. Yeah. But I think then again, at the elite level, you can't really stay in the pocket too long and get caught. So,
but to be fair, I mean, I'm not saying Martin or Washington are great fighters, but if you want to make your way as a name, establish yourself, I think, you know, he's got himself to a position I could see if Joe Joyce beats Devane, which you would expect. I think Joe Joyce versus Kownacki would be a great fight because they're both kind of, you know what I mean, this similar level where Joe Joyce, although there's only 8 fights, we know he's got Olympic pedigree, and Kownacki's making a name for himself. So that would be really interesting if they can make that fight happen. But yes, unlikely. So in terms of a threat or a serious contender, who do you think? Do you think Kownacki could beat any of the top 5 currently?
I still kind of feel that the top 4 has kind of been solidified over the last 12 months. Fury, Wilder, AJ and White. I do think I'd like to see him fight Michael Hunter. That'd be a good fight. Okay. I mean, I think there's kind of 2 brackets to the heavyweight division. You've obviously got the elite guys at the top, and then you've got those kind of subdivision of fighters, Joyce, Thurman, Ortiz even
I would have said Ortiz top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah, I would have said, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, yeah, just those fights all need to happen then because, I mean, at this moment in time, the heavyweight division's in a bit of a mess, really, with all this who's going to fight AJ next, who's going to fight, is this rematch going to happen? So I think all the guys below are probably looking at it thinking, if I can make a major statement on a major platform, then that will, you know, elevate me to get a big shot. So I have to wait and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the heavyweight division at the moment, David?
Right now, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'll start with like Joe Joyce, and I think he's a quiet one coming up. Yeah. You know?
You think he can make a name for himself this year?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this year Joe Joyce will be up there with the top.
Yeah,
100%. I can see him even getting a title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think he's in the mix.
Okay, I mean, this Devane one's going to be interesting because if he stops Devane early, I see Joe struggling to get fights a little bit. I just think people are going to look at him and think, is it worth fighting him? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Dillian White would fight him. Do you know what I mean? I think Dillian White would look at Joe Joyce and say, why am I fighting Joe Joyce right now for? Not that he's afraid, obviously, because White's on it. But, yeah, I think Joyce has got good skill. I just feel, I don't know, with him, I'm just in between on the basis of I just don't know how, like, I just think people are going to be afraid to fight him and because he's not young as well. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what he does this year.
Time is definitely against him, and I can kind of see there's a bit of, you know, he's got that amateur style, which do we know, has he been able to implement enough from that pro style that we kind of allude to?
The few pro fights he's had, yeah. So I think that'll be good. Munguia versus Inoue was also on the cards last weekend. I think Jamie Munguia is obviously making a real name for himself after he beat Liam Smith. I have to say, I thought it was a relatively decent fight. I think Inoue really surprised me. Not that he looked like he was going to beat Munguia, but more from he was throwing some big shots. Like there were a few rounds where they were just going back and forth, like a real slugfest. So yeah, I think it was a good performance from Munguia. What do you see him doing next in the division?
I'll let you.
Or you got Hurd, because obviously you want to talk about the champions. Who else is in the division?
Yeah, I mean, the Hurd fight would be a good fight. I mean, those unifications are kind of the ones that get your juices flowing, really get you put bums on seats. So, yeah, man, the Hurd fight is always going to be there. But yeah, I don't know, like, because Hurd seems to kind of, I mean, this Charlo fight is probably not going to happen now, obviously, after losing
he's got a rematch with Harrison.
With Harrison. So we'll see how that goes. But now, hopefully, like all the divisions, they just the best step up and fight the best, and we see there's one, kingpin at each. At the top of each division, that would be the ideal situation.
That'd be good, yeah. I think that's the most thing to do.
That's what we want to see. I mean, because Fury's just come in. Sorry, Fury. I'm talking about the heavyweights. Yeah, but Hurd, Gia, these guys. You still got the Cuban guy that Hurd beat. Lara. Yeah. He's still there, competitive. I mean, I don't think Kell Brook's going to really do anything in that division, but. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But again, that's what Cheeseman is trying to aim to, which is really is going to be tough for the next sort of 2 years. Guys, let's talk about some news that we heard this week. George Groves retiring, called an end to his career. Very long but respectful note on social media, talking about his decisions and reasons why. Talk about George Groves in terms of his career and what he has done, his contribution to British boxing. Yeah. Either one of you?
Yeah, no, I'm a massive respect for Groves. I think he's called it at the right time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see him go on for too long. He's been in a lot of tough fights, a lot of concussive knockouts that haven't favoured him. The Froch fight would have taken, bundles out of him. The Badu Jack defeat would have been very disheartening as well. I think then just to top that, the Smith win, you see a guy that's kind of come up through the ladder and has not really had that breakout fight that he had. And the WBSS was probably the perfect solution for that. I think it was a great way for Groves to end that chapter of his career. Paid very well, can retire happily now. He's obviously got a young family. So you wouldn't for any fight, you see the likes of Adonis Stevenson. God willing, he makes a good recovery.
But even, he's closer to home. You just look at Kownacki. I do think that had an impact on his decision.
A lot of mental kind of effect on him as well.
Yeah. And then for you, Groves?
I think Groves, yeah, like he said, I suppose, he left at the right time. There's no point going into a deep career.
Yeah.
And taking risks, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, he's had the respectable fights. He's built a good enough name.
Exactly.
He's won good fights. He's been there now. You know what I'm saying? He accomplished winning the title in the end, didn't he? So,
exactly. He beat Chudinov for the WBA. I think it was.
I would say Groves has made good enough income, to leave. So
I definitely think I agree with you on that. I think Groves, even when you look back in. He probably won't get the credit for it, but if you think about the Groves Froch or the Froch Groves fights, really that kind of set the fire for British boxing again, because around that time there wasn't much happening. There was a few names, but that was really a huge fight that was coming up. For me, I would say that he definitely contributed to kind of just kicking that pay-per-view, getting big fans interested. You look at Wembley, hadn't been done for a long time, and they filled that in. Obviously, he got a belt, but he's also had some tough competition. You look at Badu Jack, even the Chudinov fight, going into that, Chudinov was highly respected and was seen as a knockout artist. So, I think it's the right time. Not sure how much the shoulder injury will have to do with it, but, I think he's quite shrewd, Groves, although he doesn't get credit for it. I think he's quite shrewd. You look at how he's done his management, switch his coaches when it's needed to kind of change things up. So, I think for me, it's definitely the right time. Would we have liked to have seen a De Gale fight again? I'm not so sure. I think De Gale, if he doesn't beat Eubank, because I think that is a close fight, De Gale might have to call it time as well. So,
He's already said he'll call it time, hasn't he?
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Maybe if De Gale, whether he loses or not, maybe they can both sit down, maybe have a game of chess, boxing or something like that.
Nah, they don't get. You can see that they don't get on. Plus, they're Arsenal, Chelsea, so they fight. It's proper north and south. Yeah, north, west, south.
There's a lot of hostility there.
Yeah. So, but I think for me, Groves, he's had a great career. You can look back on it, and obviously, I heard the IFL interviews coming out tonight. So we look forward to more details. But I think you can look back on his career and be really happy.
And if you touch on the transition he made between Fitzpatrick and McGuigan, would you guys have liked to seen him maybe team up with McGuigan a lot earlier? Do you think he could have gone on to achieve a lot more?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. The Fitzpatrick, I've never understood it, to be honest.
Yeah, because he's working with now the likes of Luke Watkins. He seems to have a relatively good stable, but kind of that top level.
Yeah. No, but McGuigan, I think he definitely was a good trainer for him. I think you could see there was that they seemed to get on as well. So I think that always helps. But yeah, I think McGuigan and Groves was a good combination. So Groves, for me, again, he's called it at the right time. So yeah, just moving on to some news. I don't know if I just say this. Joshua and that offer from Hearn.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? So Joshua's and Hearn's offer to Miller.
I mean, it's kind of a safety choice, isn't it, really? Trying to expand AJ's brand in America.
Yeah.
The American fans seem to be captivated by what's going on in the UK. So, I mean, I think if he's looking for a 22,000 seater at MSG, be a good way to introduce himself. Dangerous fight. Miller's, he's got a good engine. His shot output, his volume of shots, his engine, and he's got credentials to be a major player and cause some trouble. Whether the weight, if he's carrying a bit too much weight, maybe that might be a impediment to him fighting.
It's a cheeseburger diet, so he says, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not sure. I mean, we've had Miller on the show. I like him. I think he's an interesting character. I'm not sure that he's going to kind of set the heavyweight scene alight. I think with Joshua, is a good heavyweight. He is the best. He's top two, no doubt. I think the problem is with the lack of, let's say, dangerous fights that he's facing. People just always question his chin in the sense of they just think, well, Miller can't beat him, but he might have a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Okay, heavyweights, we know that probably runs truer than most, but for me, I don't see Miller really causing him any issues. In fact, where I think the danger for Joshua really is the reputation. Because I just feel, let's say Miller comes out and says, oh, they don't want to fight, they offered me a low offer. You're going to have 4 fighters essentially saying that, and that's the comp coming out and saying, listen, Joshua doesn't want to play ball. Joshua is offering peanuts, knowing that you're going to say no. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, for me, I think White deserves it more than Miller. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, guys.
Yeah,
I think White deserves it more than Miller as well, 100%.
Yeah.
It's a kind of bit frustrating to see White. I mean, he's fought, I think, was it 7, 8 WBC
he's fought a few
fights. It's obviously politics gets involved.
He's got the silver belts,
international, intercontinental, all the alphabet. But
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't seem to break it in terms of title shot, which is obviously for him personally. I think now he's had those risky and kind of they dictated where he's put himself now into the top 5 of the heavyweight landscape. So, I mean, there's always, talk about the heavyweight division, there's always one thing that crops up. Politics is always kind of a barrier.
Definitely politics. I don't know, I've seen a lot of interesting things on social as well, involving Dylan White as well. So
yeah,
who knows?
He's got his own YouTube channel. I see that.
Yeah.
So before we kick off, you want to shout out your social media and let people know, fans, boxers, how they can get in contact with you guys, especially if they're looking to work with you on a boxing perspective.
Yes, at combo_CN1 or drop us an email at info@combonationpro.co.uk.
Nice. And obviously you mentioned somebody else, Caesar, somebody that you work with. So how do you guys work together? Like, can you talk about the roles per se?
So I'll focus more on boxing, the boxing side of things, and Caesar's more marketing and how we can make things improve basically within the business.
Yeah.
And then I'll just focus more on the boxing aspect of things. What's going on in and around the scene. Good. No, definitely. So guys out there that are out there, make sure you check out the Instagram page. Get your videos and tag them. The Combo Nation team definitely on the lookout for the right talent with the right dedication. Looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing as well over the next couple of months. Don't forget us, bro, as well. When you start making those billions, don't forget about us.
We need the endorsements.
We've always brought you on the platform, so
Definitely.
so always give us the respect. So also this weekend we've got Kovalev taking on Alvarez. Alvarez taking on Kovalev for the rematch for the light heavyweight belt. How do you see that one going, Tom?
Yeah, it's a good fight. Like another thing, kind of, is Kovalev at the end of his career now. Alvarez is obviously serious threat, young, fresh, and showed in the first fight that he's more than capable of mixing it with that ferocity and intensity in the light heavyweight division. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to edge towards Alvarez. I didn't watch the first fight, so I'm not really too sure what the kind of how that played out. But yeah, no, I think there's always kind of an ending to a crown. Every dog has its day. So yeah, I'm probably going to edge towards Alvarez on this one.
Yeah, I think for me, watching the first one, Alvarez had the beating of Kovalev. He came in, he was just sharper in all departments. Can I see anything different? I would say no. Obviously, a lot of these Cuban Latino fighters, their skill set is very high. Something that I think most people would say Kovalev's isn't. I think we know Kovalev is a puncher. If we think now, this is 2 years on since the Ward rematch where he got stopped and his stamina issues were apparent. So I think, potentially we're going to see additional stamina issues come out here. All kind of a bit murky in terms of the trainers and stuff. I know he's working with the Russian guy that were around when John James was there. For me, I can't see Kovalev getting a victory here. And I think it's going to be really interesting because should he lose, which I believe he will do, where does he go from there? Does he become the gatekeeper? You look at the UK guys, talking about your Yards, your Buatsis, your Burtons, would they ever step up and chase and face a Kovalev to get their acid test, as you've been saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's an interesting division, that light heavyweight with Bivol and the rest.
And I can see that happening with Anthony Yard fighting Kovalev. You saw, there's numerous examples in the past. You've seen Josh Taylor. He had his acid test against Victor Postal. Kovalev's fought in the UK before, beat cleverly. So, I wouldn't put it past me. Would Anthony Yard get a lot more credit for fighting a Kovalev when he's been offered world title shots with Beterbiev and Kovalev when he was in...
He wouldn't get credit.
No.
I like Yard, but he's not going to get credit for facing Kovalev facing off 2 defeats.
Yeah.
As opposed to when he was calling him out when he's champion. And then the other champions are calling him out. If he doesn't, it's going to be interesting. I think because with Yard, again, I like him, but I just think at that there's so many sort of skillful and strong players in that light heavyweight. It's going to be very tough. Even Buatsi, I don't see, is it worth him having a world title fight this year? I would say no.
Yeah.
I think you need to build him a little bit. I think he's skillful and good, but...
I would say build him. Worst way is at the end of the year, but definitely build him a bit more.
Even end of the year is quite close because I don't think he's out. He was on the Dylan White Chisora card. But they're good fighters. And in terms of talent, obviously, I don't know if you can give us any exclusive, but are you looking at any talent in the UK? Anybody that you feel is a good fighter and would be an interesting match with what you guys are trying to build?
Yeah, definitely. There's two that they're interested in that we're in talks with.
Okay.
Obviously, I can't reveal.
Any weight divisions you can kind of give us a hint at, or?
Ooh.
To be fair, it will still take us a while to narrow it down, but yeah.
Man. Yeah, you'll see soon though.
Yeah.
You'll see
but
soon.
you got 2 guys that you're working potentially.
Yeah, there's 2 that they're definitely interested in. Their contracts will probably even be sent out this week.
Nice.
One's been sent out already, funny enough. Another one will be sent out. So
yeah.
And just kind of one final kind of question to close the kind of your introduction to the American shores. For the company particularly, what would you think is the most important kind of objective? Is it to excel the brand globally, get these fighters and this talent, or is it actually to pick up the best fighters, the most talented fighters, and kind of raise their profile and make sure that they're well equipped for when they do step up and fight?
I think definitely it's about picking up the best of talent and stuff like that. Because like Kojo rang me before and asked me how did he feel and that, and it's a good move, but it's a move you have to be very careful about because they've built up a fantastic brand. You know what I mean? So the about billions Europe move, to put that in my hands is pressure. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to keep the brand going, and keep up that reputation. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to being careful about things you post, being careful about things you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there's in terms of boxing wise, yeah, the talent has to match up with the standards that they've been around and what they're doing. So yeah, it's not just going to be in the UK. Like I said, that they've already set up about Billions Europe.
Yeah.
Before I even got in there, so the plan has already been in the works.
Yeah.
Even before I even knew. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. And how is it working? Like, have they said anything about like potential opportunities to get fighters fighting in the US, setting up cards in the UK?
Yeah, like briefly on like a contract, for example, can still fight in the UK, and the fighters promised 3 fights a year in the US. So, and those 3 fights would be on a Broner card, the undercard of a Broner fight, Javante Davis fight, Robert Isla fight. Who else? Maybe even Errol Spence. Like I said, the relationship that they have is very strong.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
great opportunity, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of pull there as well. I mean, you saw Mayweather come over to the UK when he was co-promoting the event with Walsh for the
Gervonta Davis.
world title. So I mean, is that kind of the format you guys are trying to emulate? Is get that pull factor and do set up these shows?
No, definitely, definitely like yeah, we got a good relationship with ITV as it is from the beginning, from when ITV started. Like I said, the vision's just been seen from ages ago. So
yeah,
ITV was like, if you really look into and read about broadcasting, ITV is they're big broadcasters.
Massive
households.
So we've got a good relationship with them from their first show. I think it was Quinlan and Eubank.
Yeah.
And then, the relationship's carried on going from there. Chris has been on every single one of their shows that they've had over here. So that's helped us to work closely with them. Al Heyman's gone and done the deal with ITV and PBC. Al Heyman's also like a mentor to Ravon, 60/40, about Billion CEO. So, and Leonard Ellaby. So like I say, the circles they're so close, and the plugins is
massive.
Yeah, man. The networking circles, it's a lot now. So yeah, man. Things are good. Things are good. It's just about like he said earlier, when they come over, get the hype going, you know.
Yeah, and
kick it off from there. Yeah, man. Right now, like, even the people say, "Oh, why are you not all like hyped up about it?" And like, it's like, well, you have to. It's a business, isn't it? Stepping stone, innit? Take time, otherwise you will crash in it.
Yeah, plant the seed and let it flourish, sort of thing.
So it's take time and let things will take its toll, innit?
Yeah, but no, it's been a pleasure having you in, getting your insight, and also a massive fan, I presume, of boxing in general. So
yeah, no, like I said, thanks for having me again, as always. So yeah.
No, definitely appreciate that. So guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Some last words.
Yeah, I think just keep kind of tuning in. We're looking to obviously provide the number one content for British boxing. And yeah, man, global boxing. Yeah, but obviously, like this young man said, stepping stones. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, man, just keep tuning in. Instagram at Raps on TV. Facebook, keep expanding the subscribers and the content, and just keep supporting the movement. And yeah, Coach, I'll let you have the final word.
Yeah, no, thanks again for everyone supporting in. Thanks Combination for coming down today. Really appreciate getting some insights into this deal. All the best. I've seen what you've done with Kongo and Chamberlain, so I'm sure you're going to make good work of this and you're going to give it your best shot. So, like I said, it's a great opportunity. A little bit of pressure, but hey, pressure busts pipes, and everyone needs pressure to succeed in life. So, respect for that. So, listen, guys, we're going to be out. But as per usual, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Raps on TV. And we're out.
Cheers, man.